with John Faust.
Yes, sir.
And this is another episode of Old Souls Sage Advice. And
Do we have our Mark? Do we have our mystery guest, the Invisible Man?
We don't.
Well, I couldn't see him, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
There you go. I don't know if I'm getting that joke or not.
He's the Invisible Man. You can't see him.
But you can see me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not
Old
invisible.
Souls, bad dad jokes.
That was a good one.
That was not a good joke.
No, that was a good one. I laughed.
You know, John, we're always going to need. You asked me if there's a future with you in announcing, and I said, you know, we're always going to need racquetball players.
You didn't say that. You're stealing my joke. You're stealing. This is not funny.
Only because you can't tell the story.
No, I am really funny.
You are hilarious.
Yeah. Even my cats think I'm funny. Okay, go ahead.
Even who thinks you're funny?
I have 2 cats.
Really?
You know what? I'm a dog person, but I don't have a house. I don't have a backyard. I'm not built to walk the dog. If I had somebody else around that could take them out and everything was good, I would have one. But my cats act like dogs and they're good companions. So it works out.
You know, I didn't know you had cats, but I think that everyone needs that companionship of having a pet.
I'm with you. And we're off track already, but I think it's having a pet, especially in my situation, because don't really have a girlfriend right now. I have a lot of friends and all is good. Having a pet is, it's a sense of responsibility and they depend on you and they give you comfort in a different way. And are they a pain in the butt here and there? Sure, they are, but it's well worth it. And, pets just bring a different aspect into a person's life. Oops, did I lose you?
Sorry about that. I had a buddy of mine that's gone to the hospital.
That's not good.
Yeah, I also had a really good buddy of mine die. Steve Berkowitz was a cop in Westminster, and he retired to go to Florida. And he had health challenges that he was dealing with, but he went in for a lung biopsy the other day, and the next day his son came in and found him dead.
Our original topic may go out the window, but it is amazing how quickly things can change with people. They have an issue and they go to the hospital thinking, I'm going to go in and they're going to give me some medicine or they're going to do something. And the next thing you know, it's, hey, man, you got a tumor.
Right.
Or, hey, and this happened to a former GM of mine at the Colorado Athletic Club Monaco, where he's about my age and, reasonable shape. He worked out 3-4 days a week. And one day I was leaving the club and he was sitting by the front desk in a chair. And I remember looking at him and I didn't think it looked like he had just come out of even though he had changed clothes, It looked like he had just come out of a hard workout. And I just kind of talked to him and I went out. And then 2 or 3 days later, I came back to play racquetball. And somebody said, well, you heard about Jay? And I said, no, what about Jay? And he goes, the other day he was upstairs. Somebody walked by and they said, Jay, you don't look good. And he said, I don't think I feel good. And they took him to the emergency room, and I'm going to get this percentage wrong, but he had like a 90% blockage of a valve to his heart. And they said, you're in surgery now. And they did the surgery. He came out of it. He was good. But the doctor said, had you not come in today, you would not be alive tomorrow morning. And that's how quickly it changes. So I'm sorry about your friend.
Yeah, what a great guy. He was, a cop for so many years and enjoying his retirement. And it's just when it's your time, it's your time. And I think it's a message for all of us.
It is, and it is. And, I know I'm not going to go into any detail, but I'm in a little bit of a crossroads with some things, and I'm trying to figure out our original topic, just so people know that we haven't really got there, but this will tie in a little bit, is about money and retirement and some of that. And whoops, hold on. And
as old souls, we
reserve the right
to just wander off with our conversations because, this might be our last podcast.
Yeah. I probably
was
an Aborigine originally because I like to wander a lot, and I think they do too. So,
and I am a big proponent of edutainment.
That's that same word. It just sounds different. Yes,
that's a good one. The edutainment that we're doing is just about whatever we want to talk about, because it's all important. And especially to some of the younger listeners that listen to this podcast, the things that you think you're going to get to, maybe you don't.
And herein lies again, I'm not going into detail, but herein lies part of the dilemma that I'm thinking about right now. And, in the early 2000s, I lost a business that, damn near broke me. And I was able to recoup, stabilize. I lost pretty much all the money I had earned up until I was 50, and but was able to save my townhome, and I journeyed on, and so it obviously altered my retirement plans. So now I'm at a crossroads, because just this conversation we were having about your friend and watching other people and reading articles about someone that I know that is younger than me, smarter, richer, more successful, all these different things, and they die. And so I am at a crossroads about, do I want to not work per se in the office and pursue some of the personal things I want to pursue on a limited budget, because I'm not living forever.
I have come to the realization that it's super important to do both of those things.
Yes.
And in 2020, I sold my computer business and got untethered from that. And I told my wife, I said, I've kind of been down the road with the crazy partners and different things that are going on or whatever. And I'm telling you now that I will never, ever do anything in my life again that I don't want to do. And if I'm ever doing anything and I don't like it, I stop doing it.
And you know what, Mark?
And I've been true to that.
And you know what? That's actually been and I don't recommend it to everybody, but that's kind of been my philosophy all through life after spending off and on 3 years in the hospital when I was growing up. Some of the things that happened there, I don't think I ever made this vow. It's just how I led my life. I, for the most part, have always done the things I wanted to do, that I enjoyed, and that I enjoyed those around me. And it cost me financially at points and times. And probably the best job I ever had financially, I get paid and I look at my check and go, oh, that's good. But then on Sunday morning, I was hating Monday morning. And one day I walked in and I quit. And
what job was that, John?
Huh?
What job was that?
You know what?
And if you can't say the name,
I'm not going to say what the name, but it was a situation when I was playing racquetball and a guy I'd given a lesson to, and I won't go into detail, had a very successful auto body repair business.
Okay.
And he asked me if I would come work for them. And it was a family business. And I did. And all I can say is that I was not happy with how the business was being, what they were doing. And they were making a lot of money. And I just don't really want to spell it out. And it kind of came down to one day, my boss came in, the owner, the guy who hired me, and was blasting me over something while I'm sitting in the same room with his brother. And it was really, his brother was the one that made the mistake, not me. And I took it. And then he walked out, and I turned to his brother and I said, really? And he just put his head down. And right then I went, okay, this isn't working. And I got out. And after that, for the most part, I've done whatever it is. Not to say that some of the things that I really wanted to do weren't tough at times. Being on Belfour's national team, disaster recovery team, that was tough. It was 70 to 100 hours a week. And but
so what did the guy that yelled at you say when you quit? Did he try to walk his words back?
No, it's deeper than that. But what I did is I walked in, I kind of gave him, I kind of let him off the hook a little bit, because I just walked in and I said, and I'm not going to say his name, I said, I don't think I'm the right person for this position. And so, it might be best if I move on. And it was a family business, and it was, I could have, didn't matter what I did, I was never going to be above a family member. And his two sons and his brother were there, and it wasn't going to work out. So why torment myself over money? So anyway, so now, long story long, it was a great opportunity at the time, and it worked for a time. But the moral of the story is now I have a reasonable amount of money in retirement, but not the money I thought I would have if I really wanted to retire. But I need to live within my means and create a different way to make money that allows me the freedom to enjoy being as old as I am.
And I think that is one of the things that this show is going to accomplish, is kind of dealing with a little bit of that uncertainty, is just because as a group, us humans think that there's some kind of an answer to all that. And I suspect that in the end, when you're dying, there's a little bit of relief in the fact that, that $700 credit card payment is not going to be something I'm going to worry about. You're going to have enough in the end.
I agree. And you're very confident at the things you do, but I'm sure somewhere in there's been self-doubt about some things. And
always.
Yeah, and I am very self-confident, probably too much sometimes. I'm very self-confident, but this has been just a very interesting thought pattern about how to go forward. And over the next month and a half, I will make a more definitive decision. And, things just change. And in the workforce, one of the things that happens is, well, first of all, when you're older, I think that I swore when I was young, I was never going to be the cranky old guy. And I don't think I am. But I can tell that when you're in a work environment and you're the older person and you have a lot of experience, but you're older, and the vast majority of people below you are younger, well, everybody in my case, there's a clash. And that kind of takes a little of the enjoyment out of things. Experience and wisdom is a double-edged sword sometimes.
And I get that. But I think that is more of, trying to figure out where you're at.
Yep.
And, leaving those conversations that don't benefit us anymore. I was talking to my wife, and she said, well, how come you don't talk to so-and-so anymore? I said, well, I made a comment one time about how I thought the car business was going to crash, and he got insulted because I said that.
Yep.
And she said, well, you shouldn't say things like that. You are talking about how the real estate agents are going to, lose their commissions, and you might lose a friend over that. And I'm like, if I lose a friend over talking about what I think is going to happen in the business world of things, and they don't like what I'm saying, I don't have time for them. And I will set them free on their little Viking canoe out to the middle of the lake. I don't care if I ever talk to them again, ever, because I pursue. And then, if I don't get anything reciprocal back, I leave you alone. You know, unless it's a good natured, hey, haven't talked to you in a long time, that's fine with me. But if somebody gets their ego involved or they don't like what I say or whatever it is, we're not in the same politics or whatever, you know, I don't have time for that. And if I'm in a workplace and I'm dealing with a bunch of young guns that are just banging their heads up against the wall and having to, you know, show their testosterone or whatever, I might just buy their competing company and just beat the shit out of them in the marketplace with a bunch of old guys and some other younger guys. You know,
let me preface one thing about, you know, I really like the people I work with, and they're great. It's just that sometimes, you know, things just change, and so it's really not as much against them as it is me trying to decide what is my value now. Have, you know, do I have the same value? Do I want to move on? Do I care? That's that. And what you're saying about friends is oh so true. I mean, especially when you get older, I can look back at pockets of friends, and some friends stand the test of time. You don't talk to them all that much, but when you do, it's like you just talked to them a week ago and you're all good with it. Then sometimes you have friends that have been really loyal to you, and they're good friends. And just what you said, politically, religion, whatever it may be, especially now with Facebook and stuff, all of a sudden you realize that you may not even be on the Christmas card list anymore.
well, and I told her normally what I do is say, hey, reach out and say, hey, you know, did I offend you? Did I piss in your Wheaties? If so, I you know, I apologize. But this guy, you know, he was fine to be friends with me when he was upper, you know, when he was the president and I was the district manager. And now when things have reversed and I've had a ton of success in life and, you know, he's in a different place, now he doesn't want to listen to what I have to say or whatever. As long as, you know, he's not the big dog, he doesn't want to interact with me.
Yeah, that sucks.
So I don't want to talk to him. You know,
No,
I'm not gonna beg somebody, you know, and say, hey, you know, I don't care. And honestly, you know me, John,
Yep.
for like 30 years.
Yep.
And you and I hung around in a large group of poker playing friends that we had. And that group of people that you and I were involved in together was millionaires and people that were just scraping by.
Yep.
And we were all the best of friends.
Yep.
And, you know, there's not a hierarchy on the value of friendship.
No, and I think that's a quality that you have. I know it's a quality that I have. I mean, I could leave my house today, go buy a couple of bottles of Night Train and Ripple, and I could go down and sit on the curb with the homeless people. And I would probably make some friends and enjoy the afternoon. And by the same token, I have friends like you and other people that are massively successful, and you're still good people. And I appreciate being able to be friends all across the spectrum of life. And during that time, like I said, there are certain people that really super good friends. But, you know, as people get older, their some of their values or what they feel strongly about become different. And I know I've said this to a friend one time that was kind of pissed in the manner like your friend. And And I had to say, listen, I'm the same person I've been forever. And if they no longer, if we don't have a common bond anymore, I'm good with that because I really appreciated our friendship for a certain time and place. And as long as you're not insulting me or demeaning me, then I'm good for life to move on.
Yep. And I totally agree with that. And even more so, I don't care if they're demeaning me or insulting me or not. I move on, and I don't care what their opinion is, and Coach Prime said it the very best, and I'll try to quote it, but Coach Prime said, "What is it about me that makes you think that I give a darn what you think about me?" And you didn't make me, you can't break me, and I love that whole thing because I only have energy enough to take care of the people that I love and the people that respond to me. So if I've got some haters out there and I give them any attention, then I'm taking away from the people that really deserve my attention. And those are the people that I love. So, every train loses passengers. Every train picks up passengers. And I'm not going to worry about those people that for whatever reason left. I can't.
Yeah, and as good of a person as I try to be, I without a doubt have my own set of faults, and I will get sucked in to responding periodically to something that's said or whatever. And I've worked hard to be a kinder, gentler person in the big scheme of things. But I know that no matter what I do, no matter how much good I attempt to do, there's going to be a certain set of people that they just don't like me. And I'm good with that because I think I can honestly say I don't go after people. So I'm not looking to hurt anyone. So if something I'm doing is not your cup of tea, you don't agree with how I do it, that's your right. And life goes on.
Well, and that's the other thing. They say when you're 20, you care about what people say about you. When you're 30, you care about what people think about you. When you're 40, you don't care what people think about you. When you're 50, you realize nobody was thinking about you at all.
That's funny.
And that's where I am in life. People probably don't even know, what I'm doing because they don't care.
Well, yeah. and that and the people that do care, even if you're not hanging out with them a lot, they stay in touch and you catch up and you can discuss your life, and they have concern enough to care. And those are the people I want to be around. Whatever I'm doing, I'm kind of doing to try to make my life make sense. But my life is different than yours. It's different than friends around me. And I want to be supportive of you. I want to be supportive of my other friends. And in the process.
Yeah. And when I say that people don't care, I was really directing that at the negative hater type deal.
Right.
And they, they probably don't care. Or if they do, it's an unhealthy care. Now, as far as having a lot of friends that care in a positive way, man, I got that in spades. And every time I talk to somebody and we reach out and help somebody else, there's a bunch of love that happens, and they care very deeply. And I, you know, I will never discount that, because that is huge. And again, that's why I don't mess with the prickly ones, you know, because I just let them go, because I've got somebody, you know, waiting that is a wonderful person that wants to get with me and do some neat things. And I would be missing that if instead of, you know, staying with these other ones that just want to fuss and fight. You know, I let them go quick, you know.
No, I have one of my umpteen million sayings is, if I got paid for the quality of the friends that I've surrounded myself with through the years, financial retirement wouldn't be an issue.
Well, and that's a good point on this money topic. True wealth in this life is those bonds with those good people. And like this show is, the old souls that are together. I believe we meet up again. And I think that we're going to be happy with our savings account when we leave here, because you don't get to take anything with you except for those memories and those things that we did together. And you get to take all that with you. And so, you know, what is the true wealth?
You know, and again, we had a topic that we really didn't even get into. We've touched on it, but we haven't, but it's still all related. And I know for myself, I'm at a stage that I have a lot of historical pictures. I have a lot of when I say historical, I do mean historical. And I have a lot of racquetball things that are important. Well, the fact of the matter is I go through stuff and I see something, and it's not like I need to put on the old US team jacket to go to the grocery store. It's not like I have it hanging on the wall. And so I have periodically taken this time to find, I don't even know. I mean, I just find something and I go, ooh, I know who's going to appreciate this. And so I take something that meant a lot to me, that still does, and I give it to someone. And I know when I give it to them, it's a big deal to them. And that makes it a big deal to me, because I know when I die, something personal that was important to me, I've given to someone else. And it has an impact.
The most important thing that we give away is time.
Dead straight.
And that is the thing that a lot of people don't realize. You know, they don't realize until it's too late.
Right.
You know, because you can't give away a ton of time at the end. You can only give a ton of money and things away at the end. And no, you know, it's not valuable. You know, when a father spends some time with a son or a daughter when they're little, then you start building up that wealth. You know, if you wait till the child's 26 and then want to form those bonds, good luck.
No, and you're right. Time is the most important way to show that you care.
Yes.
And, you know, and this is a small thing, but, you know, some friends of mine just got back into town, and they're retired and they do pretty well. And, you know, it'd be nothing for them to call an Uber, to get a whatever, to get all their stuff to the airport. And, we're conversing about something, and I said, so how you getting to the airport? As I'll take you. It's a very small thing, but that's one of the things that I can give to that friendship is I show up, they've loaded up their car, and I drive them out to DIA, I bring their car back, I lock up the garage, I got the keys. It's a small thing, but it means a lot because I've given my time to do it.
I for years used to pick up my son-in-law at the airport. He works for the oil company, and he's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And a lot of times when he comes back, it was 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Yeah. His wife, no way she could stay up that late. And I always used to volunteer to pick him up and pick him up at the airport and bring him home. And, it was, $25 in toll fees in the middle of the night. And I always got to see him, spend some time with him. And at first he was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that." And it's like, I do it because I want to do it. And then the family started to realize, what I was doing. And it's part of our family culture right now. It's the airport pickup.
Yeah.
And you're saving them from arriving alone and trying to find some way home and being with a stranger when they come home and all this other stuff. You say it's a small thing. I say it's a huge thing. And it says, I care about you and I want to make your life easier. And let's spend a little time together, especially in Denver, because it's 25 hours one way to drive. And,
no, and you're right. I mean, giving that time to do that stuff I enjoy it. And I know if push comes to shove, 9 times out of 10, someone's going to do it for me. And
absolutely.
And so it does. It just shows that you care.
And I used to work with this asshole who was just a negative, narcissistic, kind of guy. And he used to give me shit all the time about it. Why do you do that? I just tell them to get an Uber. If it's not in my schedule, I don't care. They should just get an Uber and blah, blah, blah. That's rude of them to have you do that. They told me all the time I didn't need to do it. It's something I want to do.
Well, and when people will say, like, you don't really have to do this. And sometimes I'll say, if I had to do it,
I probably wouldn't.
I might not.
Yeah.
I said, but I want to do it. And this is something I can give. I can give time to people that are important to me. And that's, don't ask me for a donation check for $5,000 or whatever. I'm probably not going to be able to do that. But if you need my time, if I like you and the cause is good, I will make that time.
And you, John, you will. And I have been there side by side with you at those charity events, and I will toot your horn a little bit. John has given his skills in photography to many different things that we've supported throughout the years. So I could tell, I could be your witness. You are not talking shit. You absolutely show up with the donations of your time. And money and all that other kind of stuff for these things that are meaningful. And, I just love to, you know, actually do some of that charity with my hands, because writing a check to give something to charity, that's okay.
Right.
And we should all do it. But when you're actually helping with your hands and you're delivering those coats or boots to the underprivileged kids in the winter that need help, and you get to meet them and talk to them, that's a different thing. And you gave me a ride one time from the poker game, and it was a snowy night, and for some reason I was there, I think with somebody else that got knocked out, and then you and I went deep, and then you gave me a ride in your Cadillac.
The Pimp Mobile.
Remember that?
I do.
And that's how weird that is. I mean, that was like 15 years ago, and you gave me a ride to my house in Parker, and you were living in where you live in Aurora now, and it was definitely not on your way, but you and I were visiting in the car, and I love that Cadillac. I drive a Cadillac today now because of that. Not because of that, but because I love those cars. And it was a cool, kind of a classic kind of a Cadillac car. And I liked it.
And we probably got to cut this short in a minute. I love the Pimp Mobile. And it had its time and place. And I took great pride in that. I never thought I would drive a Cadillac. But literally, a friend called and said, and I was on the road all the time, and my car I had gone belly up, and he goes, "Hey, I got this car. You need to take a look at it." I said, "What is it?" He goes, "You just need to come take a look at it." Well, that was my first sign that probably wasn't a car that I may want. Then I went to look at it, and it was just in mint condition, low mileage, leather, all the things that a Cadillac had to offer. And I drove it, and I just laughed. And I went, yeah, I want to do this. So I got a good price on it. And
I love that car.
Yeah. And at the end, it became a money pit, and I had to get rid of it. Now I'm a Subaru guy. But the Pimp Mobile lives in infamy with many of my friends, that somewhere something, hey man, still got that Cadillac.
And that's proven the point, John, that I'm making, is that ride that you gave me had nothing to do with whether I could afford a ride or if I could buy a ride or whatever. My friend took me in his Cadillac and took me home after a poker game. And that's more important in life. And it becomes more and more and more important as we go along. So I think I'm going to hold this topic over.
Perfect.
And we'll keep talking about it, because we didn't touch on the inflation and what people should be doing for their side gigs. And you and I'll have to get to, some of these small business ideas that we're going to talk about that will help you get a little bit more freedom from, whatever it is you're doing as we go along. And, hopefully some people will ask some questions on the Facebook page. Old Souls, Sage Advice on Facebook. You can post things and ask questions or whatever you want to do. And please support our guests when we have them on. Last week's guest was Joe, and she's running that medical practice.
Yep, Panther Tech.
And lots of support from a lot of people in her community and ours for that show, which was wonderful.
Yep.
So,
okay, Mark, thanks. It was a good attempt at our topic, but I think what we talked about was actually more important.
I agree.
And yeah, and so I appreciate you, and you have a great day. And one of these times we need to talk about your trip to Vegas and Toby Keith and all that.
That sounds great.
Okay, man, you have a great day. Thank
All
you,
right.
everyone who's watching. We appreciate you. We would really like to have your input. Mark and I kind of get rolling, but we would love to cover topics that someone else brings up. So thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
That's a great guy, and that's a great show. And if there's any topics that we didn't cover that you want to see us cover on the Old Guy Show, just put it in the show stream, and have a great day.